Hey healers, and welcome back to the Oasis. This particular series right here is what I call practices and tips. It's a spot where I can share reflections and also share practical ways that you can sustain yourself in the work that you do and in the life that you are living. So today I'm specifically talking about regenerative design and reciprocity. It's two ideas that are as old as get out. They are extremely ancient in their energy and their way of being, and it's also deeply needed within our field. So, reciprocity isn't just giving and receiving. Reciprocity is also about honoring the rhythm of the relationship. So, think about it in the same way we think about our breath, the exhale and the inhale. There are both that occur within our breath. There is no counting how long one took versus how long another one took. There is no counting for which one you like more, which one you like least. They are such a beautiful representation, that inhale and that exhale, of what it looks like to have a reciprocal relationship. And for healers, reciprocity means allowing yourself to receive as much as you give. Even within the work that you're doing, allowing yourself to receive as much as you give. When it comes to regenerative design, that goes beyond sustainability. Sustainability is beautiful, and what regenerative design is all about, even as it's a mouthful, is instead of just looking to maintain, instead of just looking to sustain, it's also about creating a way of living and a way of working that is restorative, that's replenishing, and it's about creating systems that actually give back just as much as it takes, if not more than what it takes. And for us, this could mean designing our practices, navigating our workspaces, and even creating daily rhythms in ways that actually restore our energy, not just deplete it. One of the things that I say often is wellness cannot be a nights and weekends job. It can't be. Wellness cannot be relegated to one day a week of doing special things for ourselves. If we look at regenerative design, then what we are looking to do is create and navigate our lives where we are receiving bit by bit throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and throughout the year as a regular thing. So, why does this matter? Often healers are trained in systems that emphasize giving endlessly while receiving very little to nothing in return. And that little to nothing in return can relate to money, it can relate to time, it can relate to the attention that you are able to give to yourself. And over time, that is incredibly extractive, and it often leads to burnout, loss of vision, compassion fatigue, and I mean, it just leads to these blocks in our creativity and our ways of being. And so, reciprocity and regenerative design is about breaking that cycle. And it's about leaning into and reminding us that we can't be sustained if we are only pouring out. There has to be some pouring in. So, here are the practices and tips. One of the things that I would really suggest is to name your rest as sacred design. Your rest is not optional. It is not what's to be done after you are exhausted and depleted. Don't treat it as such. Put your rest into the schedule in the same way you do sessions and meetings. And I want to clarify, when I say rest, I'm truly talking about rest. I'm not talking about sleep. Actually put it in, actually consider it. If you are not a schedule person, consider it as a necessary part of your day, just as you would meals, as you would breathing, as you would commuting to or from work. If that's a part of your jam, name your rest as sacred design. The second thing that I would suggest is to practice receiving without apology. And I know for me personally, this one can be really difficult. Not that I feel the need to actually apologize, but I often feel the need to receive in a way that has demonstrated I've earned whatever it is that I'm getting. So the next time someone offers to help, to support, or even just gives a compliment, take it in without deflecting. If you're not ready to fully receive that, you can even acknowledge and say, I'm actually having a really hard time receiving that, but I appreciate you saying it to me. That is reciprocity in action. That's reciprocity in action. The third suggestion that I have is to assess your systems. I want to preface this by saying, I guess I can't preface it, I've already said it, but when it comes to assessing your system, I really want you to recognize that this is not saying if you realize your system's jacked up, you got to jump ship as quickly as possible. Everyone doesn't have the capacity to do that. Notice I didn't necessarily say ability. Everyone doesn't have the capacity to do that, and that is okay. When you're assessing your system, ask, does my current workplace, does my current practice, does my current community give back as much as it takes? Because remember, this is not just about your workplace. This is about your entire being and way of life. Does your workplace, your practice, your community give back as much as it takes? And if not, identify one small shift that you can make that will be more regenerative. The fourth suggestion that I have is let your fees, your boundaries, and your joy be healing to you. These are not selfish things to prioritize. They create an ecosystem that allows you to nourish yourself, and it just so happens to also nourish those that you are in community with and that you serve within your practice and within your healing work. Let your fees, your boundaries, and your joy be healing. The fifth suggestion that I have is use nature as a teacher. I mean that, and I mean that seriously. If you are new to this, I suggest go outside and just notice. Go outside and just notice what's happening out there. The water, the trees, the soil, the season that you are within, and just the environment that you're in, and let it remind you that everything regenerates. In nature, everything regenerates. Nothing is wasted. If you're not new to seeing nature as a teacher, then guess what? How can you look at this with more curiosity? How can you look at this with more embodiment and truly experience what nature has to teach? Those are the 5 practices and tips. And I would encourage you to just reflect, where in your work and your life can you shift from depletion to reciprocity? Where in your life could one small practice help you have more regeneration throughout the week? Not just when you're off, not just when you're collapsing for the day. Remember that your healing work does not have to be extractive. It truly does not. Even if you're working within a system that feels like it's set up to be that way. When you design your life and your practice with reciprocity and regeneration in mind, you do not just sustain yourself, you nourish your future. Until next time, may you be gentle with yourself, and may you be bold in your vision and your determination for your own care.